Hi everyone, we're moving to part 2 of the Solar Eclipse Trading Strategy, and I'm going to use a real life example, today's price action on the Bitcoin market, to show you how I use the Solar Eclipse Trading Strategy. So we see that big red candle there, green candle, I beg your pardon. Again, the size is way too big and it's shouting way too much that it's heading up and that it has changed the trend, which means that intrinsically I do not trust that, because whenever I've been through the whole chart of Bitcoin, and the real long-term bull reversals have never happened with such big candles. Normally those big size candles signify a top. This candle, yes, yesterday that closed, that is a typical candle for a bull reversal, but not this big candle today. So intrinsically, intuitively, I don't trust it at all. And if you recall on Twitter, when this big red candle started happening, instead of me celebrating that I kind of nailed the bear reversal, I was actually posting the opposite tweets. I was saying I can smell that they want to shorten the range, because these are not the candles of a deep bear trend. And here the top also showed me, because when the trend is going to be deep, these wicks are way much bigger, because the market makers, they want to, first they will pump very high to make sure that they enter very comfortable short positions that nobody else can get that high, and only then they'll dump very low. So the fact that these here wicks are not that big is also showing me that we're not heading down very deep. And now this big green wick candle is showing me that we're not going up very much, meaning that they want to narrow the range. The way I'm reading the market is that what I see. Whether that will happen is a separate matter, because October is going to be nasty one way or another. Whether a black swan will happen or some bad news will happen from somewhere, I don't know exactly what will happen. But October, I'm very bearish for October because of my Chinese knowledge. However, as I explained before, wood dog against a wood dragon, it's not a compatible combination. It's way too much earth and way too much wood of the same. These two elements dominate the chart, and according to the Chinese, they should be actually a balance. There should be harmony between the elements. There should be a little bit of all elements, and when that happens, to have the same elements, we get a bear trend. And I trust that on one hand, but on the other hand, I always check for confluences, because at the end of the day, I'm doing all of that with my own money, and I'm only broadcasting it for people as a byproduct kind of my own research. My main reason is not here to give advice to people. I'm just sharing what I do for my own trading. So with these considerations in mind, I need to go now to my Eclipse Trading Strategy to see what information I will obtain. What I do here now, yesterday we covered that a trend is very rarely reversed by the date of the solar eclipse. Only on 25% of the time a trend has been reversed. And now we're moving to the next row, and which is on which day after the solar eclipse the trend changed, because sooner or later a trend will change. So we want to know on which day. So far we've had the change of trend yesterday, which was day number 1 after the solar eclipse. And what we do here is then look for that day. So I have listed here on this row on which day after the solar eclipse the trend changed, and I look for one for the first day. And there is only one occurrence in the past where a trend has been changed on day number 1 after the solar eclipse, and that has happened to be from a bear to bull. The green candles are showing us the change to happen from a bear to bull trend, and the red colors are showing us when the trend was changed from a bull to bear trend. So I find what happened, I find this eclipse here, and I'm scrolling down to see when the trend was changed on the first day of the solar lunar eclipse, what actually happened after that. And what happened after that is that the top was reached on day number 5 after the solar eclipse, which means that would be the 7th if we map this exactly to the exact date. However, these dates are supposed to serve as a guidance. All we're taking from here is that it will happen very soon within the coming week, the bear reversal, right? We cannot really stick, it could be the exact date, but it could be sooner, it could be a bit later. And this gives me comfort now that only once historically a trend was changed from bear to bull. So that is a very small probability now that what we are seeing here is a change of trend, is a change of the bearish trend that has begun. 1 of 32, what is the probability? That is a very small percentage. And then we get even more information from this practical solar eclipse trading strategy, is that the bear reversal is coming very soon within the coming week. Then the next thing I do, I check the neighboring days. So let's say we assume that the trend was changed from bear to bull, not yesterday, but today. Although this is the candle that changes the trend actually. It's this hammer. Actually, it's quite even, isn't it? The wicks are equal on each side, so it actually it's not a trend changing candle at all. But it's still better than this candle. This candle is shouting that it's a fake out. But let's say we are making the assumption that today the trend was changed. So we go back and we look for day number for the second day after the solar eclipse, when the trend was changed on the second day of the solar eclipse. And again, we just highlight this column and we see what happened then. And here it says that on day number 16, we can open a short position on just a weekly short. Day number 16 after the solar eclipse, which would be then mapped onto 2024. That will make it 18th of October. And a long-term short could be opened last time 85 days after the solar eclipse. That is a very long time, very long time. So these dates here are very important. We keep this in mind, but the probability of this is very small to have this kind of panning out of events, because the trend was not changed today. If there has been a change of trend, let me see if I'm highlighting the right one actually. Yeah, correct, it's the right one, because this is the second date, the second day after the solar eclipse. If there has been a change of trend, that would have been yesterday. That is very clear when we see here, is that if this would be a change of trend back to bull, that clearly that has happened yesterday. It's just very clear. That is the deepest law here. So for now, we're sticking with this one here, that the last time it has happened, 5 days within that, it was a bear reversal that led to much deeper lows. And why do I trust this? Because it doesn't happen very often. It has happened only once before in the history of Bitcoin. So what that means is that it's very likely that it's going to be a fake out bull reversal, not a real one, just very temporary. Exactly as the big size of the candles are indicating that they don't want to go much higher, but they don't want to go much lower. And I'm interpreting the intentions. They want to keep the range more narrow for now. I don't think it will happen. I think volatility is coming, but I think that's the intentions. That's how they're playing it with these big candles. this here on top, that has never been a top of a global bear reversal. It needs much bigger wicks for that. Here the wicks are bigger on the bottom, but again this big candle is not to be trusted. So the next thing I do, because we always need to check confluences, nothing is ever so good. There is no tool out there in trading that is so perfect that we don't need to do any confluences. The next thing I do, I go to my daily time frames and I check what is going on about those daily time frames. Why did yesterday it close on a green to begin with? Oh wow, that was 78% probability that it will close on a green. Okay, well that makes sense then. It's not against that. So we see we can make a conclusion for a change of trend if the behavior on the market is exactly the opposite to the forecast. But if it is within the forecast, then we cannot make a conclusion for a change of trend. It just simply means that it's following the historical pattern. And then on 4th of October, still not as high, but 63% probability that it will close on a green. So it turns out that these 3 days after the solar eclipse are actually one of the most bullish weeks in Bitcoin's history. And for that reason, that means that it's a historical pattern that has got nothing to do with the trend, because all of these probabilities have been obtained from both bullish and bearish solar eclipses. So even if this is such a high percentage, 78%, 63%, that means that even the bearish solar eclipses have had this pattern. Even when the trend has been bearish, they have had this pattern. And I know they have because I have checked them on the charts. Even bearish solar eclipses that happen on a downtrend and the downtrend continues after that, they still have those 3 dates performing quite well. Particularly day 1 after the solar eclipse and day 2, not so much. You can see the probability here is reducing for day number 3 after the solar eclipse. It's much less probability. So these are my 2 confluences that I use from the Eclipse Trading Strategy, and they're comforting me that for this moment in time there is no evidence whatsoever for me to conclude that the change of trend has happened and that we're not on the bear trend that has already begun. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to check some other confluences, and then they will bring me some more information about what is going on. So we know that today Mars made a very bullish trine to Saturn, and there were some other bullish events happening today esoterically, which I keep a track on in my October forecast. So today was the 4th of October. So today was day number 4, which is incredibly bullish day. These are not updated here. All the declinations are south at the moment. I need to update them. Lunar day number 3 is one of the most bullish days in the month. And also yesterday, lunar day number 2. But tomorrow, lunar day number 4 is not actually a bullish day. However, the moon is going into Sagittarius tomorrow. That means volatility. So I need to see what aspects it will be making. But the moon is never enough to actually change the trend. So if I have time, I'll see those aspects of the moon. But if I don't have time, I will not do that. And also, there are after a trine always shows a top. So after a trine, there is always a flattening. The day after the trine, it may be perfectly fine, like having moon in Sagittarius, having all sorts of nice bullish events, but it's not as good as a trine. The trine is the best top. So that is one of my reasons why today will be higher than tomorrow, and therefore tomorrow will be closing on a red. Tomorrow is the 5th of October. Today is the 4th of October. And I also want to know what is happening in the near few days, so I'm going back here to see what other aspects are happening, what is building up basically, because we don't go just by the exact degrees, we go by 1 degree orb or 2 degrees orb, depends on the size of the planet. And what I see is that on the 6th we have a square between Mercury and Mars. That is a bearish square. I haven't back tested it yet, because I hate back testing Mercury every time. He's the most elusive planet. It's like exactly like a piece of Mercury. When I was a child, I'll drop a thermometer on the floor. When it breaks, I try to catch the little balls, and I've never been able to catch that. It's very difficult to pin him down and to analyze him, and to the declinations of Mercury are easy to analyze, but not the aspects. Every single time I have back-tested Mercury's aspects, they always give me 50-50. But I will back-test them, because I need to know, because we're heading now towards the bottom. I know it doesn't look like that, but we are. And I'll tell you why I think that. So I will backtest to see on a daily time frame what this will be delivering. It will be day number 6, which is a bullish day, and then it will be a lunar day number 5, which is a bullish day, and then the moon will be in Sagittarius, which is a bullish day. But because of this aspect, after I backtest it, I will have more confidence to know what is going on. But for now, my point is that for now, on the 4th of October, judging by this big green candle, we actually cannot make the conclusion that a bull reversal has happened. And then we checked here, last time a bear reversal has been done, that was 5 days. So this is giving us an indication that a bear reversal will be happening very, very soon, within 5 days, or plus minus 2 days. That will be within 7 days as the longest. At the longest, from the solar eclipse, we're expecting a bear reversal. A long-term bear reversal as well. What I mean by a long-term is around a month, because this is what is showing me how many days after the solar eclipse a bear reversal allowed a big short. And for practical reasons, what I mean by this is minimum a month. So then I will think what other confluences I can bring to my consciousness to make a better decision, and I tweeted them yesterday. One is that on the 25th of September we got a 45-degree angle between Saturn and Pluto. That was 25th of September is this one. So that has happened only once before, in 2014. In 2014, when after this aspect, that aspect was followed by up moves. The other times when that has happened, that aspect brought a downtrend straight away. But only once in 2014 it was followed by up moves. So this gives me reason to expect that to conclude that we're following the same pattern. So I posted that yesterday, and you can see it was 5 time frames, daily time frames up, and then boom, sharp down. So I use that as a very serious confluence for my bear bias for October. And why? Because it's a very rare event. The more rare the event is, the more likely is that it's accurate. That's why I don't like backtesting Mercury, because Mercury's aspects, they happen so often throughout the year. With every aspect, he gets at least 2 in a year. He gets at least 2 aspects in a year with every planet. And then when it goes retrograde, sometimes it gets even more. So the same aspect sometimes can happen 3-4 times in a year. So what is the likelihood that every single time that will close on the same color? And Mercury is really difficult, is a difficult planet. Mercury's aspects are difficult. Is my last actually tool, really the last tool to shed light on what is going to happen. I prefer to work with the aspects that are between heavy planets, slow planets, and they happen very rarely, and when they do happen, they hit hard. So for now, this is the main reason why I'm holding a bearish bias for October. So far, this bias has not been invalidated, but I play every day, one day at a time. If it becomes invalidated, I'll let you know on Twitter, or I may even record a video. Because this aspect here on the 25th was between Saturn and Pluto, 45-degree angle, it has happened only 4 times before in Bitcoin's life. So that's why I trust it, and also I trust it more. I don't trust it 100%. I never trust anything 100%. And also I trust my Chinese knowledge that in the month of October it's the wood dog, and then this is happening in the year of the wood dragon. There is a very big clash of elements there. So those are my 2 main confluences for a bearish bias for October, and for the moment this bearish bias has not been invalidated. I'll let you know when this becomes invalidated, and if this becomes invalidated. For me, at the moment, the expectation is, in my head, after checking all the confluences, is that tomorrow, the 5th of October, is likely to close on a red candle, because the probability there was much lower for the 5th of October. And I have another reason, which is the Chinese element cycle, which I never discussed before, so it's too long to explain and I want to keep the video short. But according to the Chinese element cycle, the 5th should be making the visible bear reversal. Right? It has done that several times before in the history of Bitcoin. So here it is, two serious confluences, that tomorrow will be the bear reversal, the 5th of October. And if that becomes invalidated, we still remain calm, because it never has to, we don't have to rely on the exact date. As we can see here, this is assuring us that by day number 5, or maximum day number 7 after the solar eclipse, we should be expecting a bear reversal, with a long-term bear reversal. So this is it for now. If anything becomes invalidated, I'll let you know. Bye for now.